Isang magandang umaga sa ating lahat at lalong-lalo na sa ating course professor na si Dr. Perks.
Yan. Excited ka na ba sa webinar natin ngayon, partner?
Siyempre naman, partner, dahil nagbabalik na naman tayo sa panibago nating webinar. At ang ngayon naging mag-partner.
Yes, true ka dyan. Kaya naman, excited na rin ako sa kung ano pang mangyayari maya-maya lamang. Muli, isang magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Ako si Teacher Janella.
At ako naman si Teacher Jannah. At kami ang inyong
Masters of Ceremony for today.
Yan.
Welcome to our webinar class entitled School Policies and Their Functions.
And the Philippine Professional Words for Supervisors.
And by the end of the talk or this lesson, we should be able to know the importance of school policies in school operation, gain appreciation on the functions of school policies that govern school and community partnership, and discuss the competencies expected of school head as contained in Philippine Professional Standards for Supervisors.
I know that you are all excited to know what we have to discuss for today. Hindi na natin patatagalin pa. Let me introduce to you our guest speaker for today. She completed junior high school and graduated senior high school at Gymnasio Christian Academy under Youth Strand and is currently studying at Polytechnic University of the Philippines, taking up Bachelor of Elementary Education.
Yes, without further ado, let me introduce to you our guest speaker for today, Ms. Jannah Marie Saligao.
Good morning, classmates, and to our course professor, Dr. Rosalie. Hello po sa inyo. I'm Jannah Marie Malubag Saligao, your speaker for today's webinar. And I'm hoping that God will guide me sa kung ano man ang aking sasabihin sa ngayong araw. And I hope that you will learn something from me, especially that this is my first time speaking in front of you all, to my classmates and to our professor. So, ako po yung mag-i-start na agad-agad. Opo. Yan, introduction. To start the lesson, school are institutions made by a shared vision because oo nga naman. If we look at the picture that the school has no shared vision, they cannot achieve a common goal, which is to educate the uneducated people and have no clear plans to their school. Dahil alam naman nating lahat na ang pagkakaroon ng vision and mission sa isang eskwela, ito ay nagsisilbi as their plan of the school. And without it, the school might fail. And to come up with that, school must have policies for them to realize their mission and vision. These policies are a reflection of the values of the people who created them. Whatever policies are formulated must lead down to the improved teaching, learning of learners, which is the very reason for the existence of school. Sinasabi ng pagkakaroon ng polisiya sa eskwelahan, it will serve as a guide to create and to realize the mission and vision. At yun nga, yung mga polisiya na magagawa within sa school, it should be aligned to their real purpose kung bakit nga natayo yung paaralan na iyon. Okay. Talking about the policy, the school policy, our first lesson is about school policies and their function. But here is the question. What is the school policy? When we say school policy, is defined as the set of established expectations for a specific behavior and norms within a school. School policies are put in a place to guide the day-to-day functioning of the school as well as to make it safe and effective place for learning to occur. Itong mga mga polisiya sa school, nagtatatag sila ng rules and regulation to guide the appropriate behavior para masigurado yung safety ng student, teacher, school staff, or kung sino man nandun sa school na yon. Sinisigurado yung kaligtasan doon sa loob ng learning environment na yon. At bukod doon, dahil nga sa nasusunod yung patakaran within the school, natututunan rin, lalo na especially ng mga bata, kung paano umaksyon ng tama. At ang importante dito, ang polisiya, yung polisiya ng school, na-ensure nito yung pagkakaroon ng epektibong pagtuturo ng guro at pagkatuto ng bata. So, having school policy is one of the factors why the school achieve the effectiveness of the teaching and learning operation. Ngayon na alam na natin kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng school policy, here is the selected example that I choose to tackle. The first one is the anti-bullying policy. Okay, bully. Bully. Ito, sikat ito, lalo na sa school. Hindi naman sa sikat, parang madalas mangyari sa school. At syempre, sa Wattpad din, yung bang bully si lalaki, tas nerd si babae, tas na-inlove si lalaki, gumanda si babae, tagkain lamang sila. But in a reality, hindi ito nangyayari. Sa ibang mga sitwasyon, nag-iiwan ito ng trauma sa bata, na kung minsan, they will lose their confidence. Oo talaga, nakakawalan talaga siya ng confidence kapag binubully ka. Tapos bukod doon, hindi gaano, dahil nga sa takot, hindi sila nakikihalubilo. Some of them, hindi nakikihalubilo sa tao. Tapos okay ako minsan, nawawalan ng gana sa pag-aaral, nagiging rebelde sa pag-eskwela, hindi pumapasok, at ang worst talaga, hindi, para bang bumababa yung grades. Kasi nga, nawawalan ng gana at kung ano-ano pang consequence. Okay, bullying is the abuse and mistreatment of someone. That's why having an anti-bullying policy in school is essential. It is not just because that it is not appropriate in school, but for the health of the child holistic development. Therefore, ang function ng policy na ito is to ensure the student learn in supportive, caring, and safe function of this safe environment without being fear of being bullied. Okay. The second policy is about dress code policy. Patukol naman ito sa polisiya na si student should wear appropriate clothes. Issue rin talaga ito sa mga estudyante, lalo na gustong magnamit based on how they want to dress. But yes, and still, we should obey the school policy. So, ayun na. Ewan ko kung pasok ito, pero feel ko oo. Sa example, we have a school uniform on my previous school sa gymnasio. May higpit sila kapag may nakikita silang tinutuping pants hanggang binte. Sabihin ng mga teacher namin, may bahaba. Di ba kasi kapag may baha, kunwari hanggang binte, ayun, inaano natin kumbaga, kapag mahaba yung suot nating short, itinataas natin hanggang binte. Kaya ayun, lagi nilang sinasabi sa ginagawa ng estudyante yun sa loob ng school namin, may bahaba. So ayun, bukod doon, meron pa, ayun nga, dahil nga maraming sa kaklas namin, loko-loko, ayun nga, may ginawa kaming challenge. Tapos, ayun, halos lahat nung nasa classroom na iyon, nag-participate doon sa challenge na yun. Pero that time, wala kaming teacher. So, yun. Grade 10 kami noon, usong-uso yung mannequin challenge. Ayun nga yung ginawa namin. Then, in-upload nila sa social media. Tapos, nakita yun ng principal namin. Tapos, pinagsabihan niya kami na i-delete yun. Tapos, medyo nagalit siya. Pero, hindi naman yung galit na galit talaga. Yung ano lang. Basta pinagsabihan niya kami. Tapos, ayun, do you want to know kung ano yung reason niya, kung bakit niya kami pinagsamihan? Kasi, ayun nga, because we are wearing a school uniform. At dahil sa suot namin yun, we are representing our school. Tapos, ganun yung ginawa namin. Parang is not appropriate daw. Kasi nga, ayun, bukod sa school siya, Christian school kasi. Kaya, ayun. Tapos, araw-araw na klase yung uniform, we should wear our school uniform in a appropriate way and respect it. Since yun nga, dala-dala. So, the function of this dress code policy is to provide guidance to student as to appropriate attire for school and at any school function. Doon naman tayo sa pangatlong school policy. Okay. Policy on student absences and tardiness. Ayan. This policy is from DepEd Order number 8, series of 2015. Hindi ko na ito babasahin. Explain ko na. So, ayun nga. Sinabi rito sa order na ito, kung ang isang mag-aaral ay nag-absent in more than 20% doon sa number ng araw ng klase sa buong period, semester, or school year, sinabi sa order na ito na yung mag-aaral is dapat daw bigyan ng failing grade at hindi na daw pwede makapag-exam ng subject doon sa hindi niya pinapasukan. Pero pwede siyang i-reconsider ni school head kung yung isang mag-aaral ay nag-exceed sa 20% na hindi pagpasok, ngunit pwede siya i-reconsider kung valid yung reason kung bakit nga hindi siya pumapasok at katanggap-tanggap naman yung reason na yun doon sa school. At ayun nga, si school head lang yung may power na makapag-reconsider, not the student and even a faculty member. About naman sa tardiness, tardiness. According to Wikipedia, tardiness is the habit of being late or delaying arrival. Meron nga sa amin, I don't know kung na-apply sa inyo. 3 days sa isang week, it's considered as a 1 absent. At po talaga, hindi na ako magpapakalinis doon. Dahil sa buong buhay ko sa pag-aaral, minsan lang ako naging maaga sa klase. Hindi naman ako sa proud doon. Pero, yun nga, kasi totoo nga nun. Kaya kapag talaga pagdating ko sa school, naghihintay ako, tas ang awkward kasi talaga kapag may nagsisian, makikita ko na naghihintay doon, ang awkward. Tapos, pero naman kung may mood naman si teacher, nagpapapasok siya. Mabuti na lang palaging ganun. But, kaya nga yun. But yes, yung action na yun is not appropriate and I admit that it is wrong sa mga gawain ko noon. Kasi nga, sabi dito, according to this DepEd number 8 series of 2015, na yung tardiness is discouraged. Tapos, sinabi din na na si teacher daw ay i-inform si parents or guardian nung student sa na pwede silang mag-conduct ng meeting kung kung yung alaga nila or anak nila ay late sa 5 araw na straight. So, ayun. So, this policy aim to improve pupils' achievement by ensure high levels of attendance and punctuality. I know that, yun lang naman yung tatlong na pinili kong i-topic. I know that we learn something from the example of school policies. Okay, this is the question. What is the importance of its school policies? Ano nga ba yung mga kahalagahan no katulad nung in-example kanina na ibinigay? School in partnership with their community have their own picture of what they want to be, which is the vision statement. And so must offer services and must do what they are supposed to do, which is the mission statement, in order to realize what they envision themselves to be. In every school, meron talagang vision and mission statement. At katulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, without it, there's a big possibility that that school may fail. Kaya need talaga sa school. Kaya nga 'di ba dito, just like dito 'di ba sa PUP, the vision of the PUP is to make it transform to an epistemic community, the National Polytechnic University. And that's our school officials picture on what they want PUP to be like. At syempre, oo, ganun din. Meron din tayong mission statement. For this happen, policies must be in place. Observance of these policies ensures everyone in the whole community to toe the line. That's why merong policies that need to follow to control everyone sa komunidad ng eskwela sa kung ano man ang magiging plano, statement, and main purpose nito. Sabi nga, an organization without a policy is an organization without a control. If conditions are ideal, like when all members of the school community are perfect, school heads, teachers, students, parents, non-teaching personnel, and other members of the outside community, there may be no need for a policy. The truth is conditioned in the school community, and in this world are far ideal, and person that makes school community are far from perfect. So the need of policies. Through that, we can see what is the importance of the policy. Kasi totoo nga naman, kung perpekto ang pangangalakad sa isang eskwela, aside doon sa mga school head, supervisor, teachers, parents, and other teaching personnel, hindi na kailangan ng policies kasi nga, it is already perfect. Why do we need policies if everything's so well? May improve pa ba? May need pa bang i-develop? Need pa ba ng guidance ng policy to toe the line doon sa school? No, because it is already perfect. But that perfect is only ideal in this world. Oo, totoo talaga yan. We are so far from that. We are so far from that. Because in a reality, iba ang school. Madami siyang need para hindi siya mag-fail to serve sa mga bata. And that's why having a school policy is essential. The role of the school of policies is to guide. It is a guidance. Okay, one may wonder as to why the Department of Education has issued very stringent policies and guidelines for PTAs in matters of collecting contribution. Even engaging in any partisan political activity within school premises is treated as one prohibited activity. There must a history to that. Perhaps malversation of funds and other forms of abuse happened in the past. Yung PTA is a parent-teacher association. It is a school-based organization with a mission to make the school is better place for children to learn. Itong mga parents ay nagtatrabaho kasama yung mga teachers. Maybe nag-volunteer sila para magbigay ng budget para sa school supply. but generally they are there to support the school's effort. So itong si DepEd ay merong strict policies and guidelines for this association kasi part of it is a parang political activity. Ayun. That's why siguro one of the reason why they are strict o kaya mahigpit dahil yun nga merong corruption sa fund or meron sigurong merong mga abusong nagaganap. Ito na tayo sa school policy on the grading system is important for everyone concerned to know how grades are computed. Both student and parents know how grades are derived objectively. Percentage weight for each component are clear. Awan ko if na-apply ito sa school nyo. Sa tuwing nagkakaroon ng pasukan tapos a week after, nagkakaroon kami ng meeting. Hindi kaming mga estudyante. Yung teacher, principal, and parents, sila may meeting. Tapos doon, ipapaalam ng principal at ng teacher namin doon sa parents namin kung ano yung policy na dapat namin sundin. Tapos ito, ayun nga, dinidiscuss din nila yung about sa grading system para maging aware yung aming parents sa kung paano nako-compute yung grades at sa kung paano namin ginagawa ay kung ano yung mga dapat namin gawin para magkaroon ng grades. Ayun nga, yung nandito sa components. Kasi, yung may mga parents kasi na nagrereklamo talaga kung bakit mababa yung grades ng kanilang anak. Ayun, na-observe ko din yun sa aming school. Naririnig ko. Tapos, ayun, kaya talaga they should know about this grading system. At ganun din naman sa ating student. Dapat alam din natin na kung paano kunin yung grades. Kasi, ayun nga, minsan kasi talaga nagrereklamo din tayo kung bakit ganun yung grades kahit na tayo din naman yung gumagawa. Kaya, ayun, alam din natin para, ayun nga, alam natin. Ang gusto. So, ayun, ito yung example ng grading system sa school. Ito yung grade 1 to 10. Then, this is the components, written work, performance task, quarterly assessment. Tapos, sa written work, ito yung percent, which is 30% in a language, AP, ESP, 40% sa science and math. Sa MAPE, EPP, and PLE is 20%. Sa performance task naman is 50% sa language and AP and ESP, 40% science sa math, and 60% tas 60% sa MAPE and EPP and PLE. Quarterly assessment, 20% sa language and AP and ESP, 20% sa science and math, and MAPE and EPP and PLE. Tapos, ayun, 20% overall sa ganyan-ganyan. Total of 100. Similarly, if there are no policies on student tardiness and absenteeism, a student may just came in late or absent. The policies on student tardiness and absenteeism certainly will curb tardiness and absenteeism to ensure learning. At ayun, katulad nga sa grading system, the student should also know about on this policy. There's a policy for para sa pag-absent at yun nga yung palaging late. Because if they are not aware on this policy, they might always late in absent. At kung palaging ganun, ano ang mangyayari sa pagkatuto ng mga bata? So, one of the most important for their learning operation, is their presence. They should always attend in class unless they have a valid reason. And now that we can see and know the importance of school policies, let's move to the effective policy formulation, implementation in a school community partnership. The policies on grading, student tardiness, and absenteeism came from above, DepEd Central Office. At times, there is a need for policies from above, but policies do not need to come from above all the time. There are times when a school formulates a policy to address a local problem. In fact, this is how it should be in a school community partnership. Ideally, a policy must not be formulated by a school head by himself, herself. The school head must lead in the policy formulation process. Yung polisiya sa grading, student tardiness, and absenteeism ay galing sa DepEd Central Office. Pero hindi raw sa lahat ng oras ay nanggagaling doon ang policy ng school. Sinabi rito na may mga pagkakataong gumagawa ang paaralan ng isang polisiya para matugunan yung local problem. And through that, that's how the community and school cooperates. Kaya meron tayong school community partnership. Kasi hindi naman po pwede na si school head lang ang bubuo ng isang polisiya. Dapat talaga may kasama siya. Maybe the director, supervisor, teacher, at kung sino-sino pang non-teaching personnel. But, sabi nga nakalagay dito, the school head will be the one who must lead during doon sa process ng pagpapatupad ng isang polisiya. The word lead in the formulation process must be participatory. This means that it is the best that the rest of the school and community be involved. Two good heads are better than one. Besides, participation of school community and develop a sense of ownership such formulated policy which ensure more effective implementation. This is school empowerment in action. Aside from involving the school and community in policy formation, a school head must ensure wide dissemination, and correct and clear understanding of the policy. Ayun. It is the best for the school if the and community are both involved in a policy formulation process. Mas effective raw yun. Kasi nga, kaya nga sinabi, two good heads are better than one. Mas madami, mas maayos. Kasi nga, marami mag-observe, madami magsasalita, madami yung mag-i-improve, madaming magsasuggest. At dahil sa mas effective ang pagkakaroon ng participation sa paggawa ng polisiya, dito madedevelop ang sense of ownership na kung saan sinisigurado rin nito ang epektibong pagpapatupad ng polisiya sa eskwelahan. And yes, bukod sa pagkakaroon ng participation between sa school and community, the school head should be also aware doon. So dapat yung dapat maging aware doon sa polisiya na kanya o kanilang gagawin. And this is now the end of our first lesson. I hope that you learn about the school policies into its example, the importance of it, and the effective policy formulation and implementation in a school community partnership.
Ayan, thank you. Thank you so much po to Miss Diana for that talk. No? Sobrang halaga na aware tayo at sinusunod natin ang policies na meron ng school natin as it will serve as a way for the betterment of the school itself at pati na rin yung pakikisalamuhan ng students sa isa't isa para maalis yung or maiwasan yung fear na dala nila para hindi pumasok. Dahil school is not just a place to learn, it is our second home nga sabi. So dapat mag-create tayo ng better environment sa pamamagitan rin ng pagsunod sa mga school policies. And before tayo punta sa second part ng talk ni Ms. Jannah, let us first watch this inspirational video.
Quiet! Bring out your books and turn to page 51. Today's lesson is the use of have to and has to. Who can tell me the difference and the usage? Mr. De Guzman? Nothing? So what is this? Nobody read their assignments at home? None of you can even answer me? Why are you late, Mr. Tolentino?
Ano po kasi ma'am, bumili po ako ng ballpen.
Let me remind you, this is English class.
I bought a pen, ma'am.
Sit down and bring out your book.
Yes, ma'am, sorry po.
Quiet!
Yan si Ma'am Evangelista. Strikto, lagi nakasimangot, nakakatakot. Para siyang pinaglihis sa samahan ng loob.
Yes, Mr. Tolentino? Late again, Mr. Tolentino? Remove your earrings!
Parang kada araw na lang may issue si Ma'am.
Where is your book? How will you read the lesson?
Pero kahit ganun siya, siya pa rin ang favorite teacher ko.
I'm really worried about your grades and your habitual tardiness.
Sorry po, ma'am. Hindi na po mauulit.
May problema ba sa bahay?
Wala naman po.
Nandito lang ako pag kailangan mo ng kausap. Ako ang nanay mo sa school.
Dahil kay Ma'am, natuto akong mag-English. Dahil kay Ma'am, nahilig ako magbasa. Dahil kay Ma'am, natuto ako.
Oh, you're early. Okay, please take note of the scope of your periodical exam. Number 1, compound nouns. Number 2, transitive verbs. Number 3,
Dahil kay Ma'am,
Mr. Tolentino.
ganito ako ngayon.
Ma'am,
Is he going to be my teacher?
Yes, go to your teacher.
teacher.
Ang cute mo naman. What's your name?
Ace po.
Ikaw nang bahala sa apo ko, ha?
Sige po.
So ayan, I hope we got something or learned something from the video presented. Ngayon naman ay dadako na tayo sa second part ng talk ni Miss Jannah.
Para sa pagtatapos ng webinar, siguro ang may iwan ko lang na aral para rito, kumbaga sa story, may moral lesson, gano'n. So, ayun nga, itong Luke 1, verse 7, yung, for with God, nothing is impossible. That's my favorite verse, SKN. If you wish to be supervisor and reach the career number 4, where they are almost perfect, diba, sabi doon. I know it is impossible to reach those characteristic at yung mga pagdadaanan mo para maging supervisor. But, ayun nga, for him, nothing is impossible. Siyempre, hindi kanya gagawin almost perfect agad. He will guide you on your journey sa pagiging supervisor, better supervisor. We all know that is hard talaga. So, ayun nga. Just like itong sitwasyon ko ngayon, akala ko hindi ko ito magagawa. Kasi, ayun nga, kabado ko, takot ako, at saka imposible sa akin para magawa to. Pero, ayun, naging possible yun dahil sa kanya. And that is because he guided me sa paggawa nito. Kaya sobrang thankful talaga ako. So, ayun, dito na talaga ako magbababay. Hoping talaga na meron kayong natutunan dito. And I'm sorry po pala sa mga galaw kong nakaka-distract, sa mga moments na sabog and lutang, tsaka sa mga naririnig while I am distracting. And yes, hello po ulit sa inyo. And now, after tackled about the school policies and their function, we will now move to the PPSS, which is the Philippine Professional Standard for Supervisor. But before knowing about that, let us know first about who are the supervisors. Who are the supervisor? Educational supervision is term used to identify the work duties of administrative workers in education. Educational supervisors make sure the educational institution operates efficiently and within the legal requirements and rules. The purpose of this field is to make sure teachers and other faculty members actually they are focused on school principal. Okay? Ayun nga. The purpose of this field is to make sure teachers and other faculty members are doing what they are supposed to be doing and that students are receiving the best education possible. Ang supervisor, sila yung mga administrative workers doon sa school. Sinisigurado nito na kung ang isang paaralan ay nasa maayos na kalagayan, kung nag-ooperate sila na talaga na according to their purpose. Ang layunin ng kanilang trabaho is to guide the school heads teacher at iba pang members doon sa school. Pero katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, they are more focused talaga in a principal. Matatakil yun mamaya. Ayun nga. Tapos ayun, yun nga. Ayan. And now that we know who are the supervisor, let's us talk about what is the Philippine Professional Standard of Supervisor, which is the PPSS. The Department of Education issued DepEd Order number 25 series of 2020, or the National Adoption and Implementation of Philippine Professional Standard for Supervisor. It clearly articulates a developmental continuum of professional practice that supports supervisor in the conduct of the region, division, school, and learning centers, and provides clear guidance for career progression. This one simply means that the PSS is all about a set of standard for supervisor that articulates the professional practices expected of a quality supervisor in a region, division, school, and learning centers. Ayan. Ano nga ba yung objective ng supervisor or no PSS? The first one is set out clear expectation of supervisor along well-defined career stages of professional development from beginning to exemplary practices. About on career stages of supervisor, it will be tackled in the last part. The second part is engage supervisor to actively embrace a continuing effort to attain high levels of proficiency. It means that the supervisor should embrace the continuous changes to reach the high levels of proficiency. Example na rito yung yung sa technology, 'di ba? Na habang tumatagal ng patagal, nag-upgrade, nagbabago, mas nagiging high-tech ba? So, the supervisor should embrace that. Siyempre, hindi lang doon sa technology, but in everything for the improvement and development. The third objective is to provide support for professional learning and development, help identify development needs, and facilitate the uniform assessment of performance. And now that we already know about the objective of supervisor, we will know what is the role and function of supervisor. The primary role of supervisor is to create an enabling and supportive environment for effective learning by school principal so that they could in turn create innovative and caring climates where teachers productively execute their roles in supporting the learners to reach their full potential. Now, let's try to understand it. In order to the learners to reach their full potential, the teacher should productively execute their roles. And for the teacher who should productively execute their roles, the school head should create innovative and caring climates. And for the school head can do that, the supervisor must create an enabling support environment. Well, I'm not saying na kung magkamali man ng isa sa kanila, kasalanan na ni supervisor. But they should be also responsible for their passion. Pero kasi yung supervisor, they have a crucial role. Kaya dapat talagang magampanan nila ng maayos yung kanilang role as a supervisor, which is create an enabling and supportive environment to empower the principals. Because you as a supervisor, your main focus is the head of the school. You can help the teachers in a technical assistance and other members of the school sa pamalakad noon. But the principal is really the focus. So that the principal is being effective as well doon sa teacher. Kasi kung isa man talaga ang hindi naging effective sa kanila, kahit hindi mo kasalanan, you will starting to think na may pagkakamali ba or may kulang ba doon sa pag sa pag sa pag paggagampan hindi, sa role mo sa gagawin mong role. Kasi yun, that's why talaga you as a supervisor, you need to execute your role so well because it is really crucial. Yan. So, in the Philippines, the role and function of different supervisors have been informed by the policies listed in this table. In 2001, with the passage of Republic Act number 9155, it provides the framework for the governance of basic education, setting the general directions for educational policies and standards, and establishing authority, accountability, and responsibility for achieving higher learner outcomes, and defines the role and responsibilities of region, school division, and school in implementing educational programs, projects, and services in community they serve. In 2003, with the Deped Order number 81, series of 2003, it delineates the specific roles and function of supervisors from chief education supervisor to education supervisor 1 to 2, 1 to 3 rather, and public school district supervisor, highlighting the respective scope of supervision and main responsibility. Dito sa sa 2003 to, dito na specific yung roles and function ng supervisor. And in 2004, we have Executive Order number 366 series of 2004. It strategically reviews the operation and organization of the executive branch, aimed at focusing government efforts and resources on its vital services, and improving the quality and efficiency of government services delivery by eliminating and minimizing overlaps and duplication, and improving agency performance through the rationalization of service, delivery, and support system and organization, structure, and staffing. Dito naman in 2004, dito na nagkaroon ng studies about how do you eliminating the overlapping of function. In 2005, with the Deped Order number 29, series of 2005, it focuses on the roles and function of division supervisors towards improved educational outcome. And in 2013, we have DepEd Rationalization Program na na-release, and it ensures the smooth transition of the Department of Education, which includes the supervisory position. And after the smooth transition, the Deped Order number 52, series of 2015, it sets a new organizational structure in line with the Republic Act 9155, in keeping with the principle of decentralization and shared governance to ensure accountability and relevance to the context and development needs of learners and stakeholders of various organizational levels. And now let's move to the core domains and strand of the supervisor, where we will know the standard of them. The domain 1, which is the supporting curriculum management and implementation, which it consists of six strands. Which the first one is curriculum implementation, na the supervisor should support the curriculum implementation. Curriculum innovation, the supervisor should address a specific concern to support the school for the better implementation of the curriculum. Curriculum contextualization, learning resource development. This is about conducting activities. Learning resource management, referring to the conduct of different activities to ensure the availability of learning resources needed in the implementation of the curriculum. And the last one is learning outcome assessment. The domain 1, which is the supporting curriculum management and implementation, it focuses on supervisor leadership and managerial skills in providing proactive support to division, district, schools, and learning centers in curriculum management and implementation. The number 2 naman is, the domain number 2 is strengthening shared accountability, which consists of 4 strands, which is the educational development plan operationalization. The supervisor should operationalize program, projects, and activities. The technical assistance provision, policy review and recommendation. These strands mandates the supervisor to conduct a review and recommendation of national, regional, and ordination policies, and disaster preparedness, mitigation, and resiliency support. This domain 2, strengthening shared accountability, underscores supervisors' leadership and collaboration skills in strengthening shared accountability in operationalizing education development plans, providing technical assistance, reviewing and recommending policies, and supporting disaster and preparedness, mitigation, and resiliency. In this domain, supervisors are expected to provide harmonized needs-based support to division personnel, school head, and other field implementers to inform forward planning and decision making. Improvement, which it consists of 6 strands. The support for instructional leadership, ICT-based innovation, culture of research, communities of practice, communication platforms, and partnership and linkage. The domain number 3, fostering a culture of continuous improvement, underpins supervisor organizational and technical skills in providing support for instructional leadership, technology-based innovation, including ICT, a culture of research, communities of practice, and the use of communication platforms. In this domain, supervisors are expected to provide support in creating an environment to ensure efficient and effective delivery of basic education services. And the last domain, which is the developing self and others, which consists of 5 strands, which is the rewards and recognition mechanism, learning and development, professional networks, professional development, support for reward and recognition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kulang ng isa. Ang kulang is yung professional reflection and learning to improve practices. This domain 4, developing self in others, centers on supervisor ability to develop themselves and others through sustained commitment for learning and development, professional network, personal and professional development, professional reflection and learning to improve practices, and support for rewards and recognition. In this domain, supervisors are expected to commit to ensuring people and team effectiveness. And now that we know the domain and the strand, let's move to the career stages. Ito. Encourage career stage 1, pre-supervisor have acquired the prerequisite qualification for the position of supervisor. They possess considerate knowledge and understanding of the function expected of supervisor as specified in the Philippine Professional Standard for Supervisor. They are equipped with exceptional teaching skills as stipulated in career stage number 3 and career stage 4. In the Philippine Professional Standard for Teachers or School Leadership skill is stipulated in the Philippine Professional Standard for School Head or the other relevant qualification and experiences. For the career stages 1, dito sa career na to, hindi ka pa supervisor. Hindi pa supervisor ang isang supervisor. And yet, you are on the career stage 1 na. Kahit hindi pa ikaw supervisor, pero dapat alam mo na kung paano nagpo-function ang isang supervisor. Na dapat na yung alam mo function na supervisor, it should be expected doon sa standard nito PTSs. And aside from that, for this stage, you should qualified for both attitude and academic qualification. Kasi kahit na alam mo yung mga function nung isang supervisor, tapos kung napakagaling mo, pero kung wala kang degree, hindi ka qualified kasi need siya na academic qualification. So, sa career stage number 2 naman, supervisors independently display the required knowledge and skills in performing the leadership and supervisory function. They provide support to division, district, school, and learning centers for curriculum management implementation by strengthening shared accountability and fostering a culture of continuous improvement while developing themselves and others. They solicit proactive support from colleagues and their immediate superiors in performing more advanced tasks. They manifest maturity in decision-making and exhibit influence, credibility, and authority in following basic standard and procedure of work. Wait lang po. Ay, no. So, ayun nga. For the courageous stages, stage number 2, you must apply to yourself your number 1. Alam mo pa lang yung mga skills o kaya kung paano nag-function yung supervisor. In the career stage number 2, dapat na-apply mo na sa sarili mo. You are already a supervisor. You passed the career stage number 1. So you should and required to apply that. You need to support, you need to be proactive. Na hindi ka lang magpo-function as a supervisor kung maipapagawa. But you should work on your own kahit na walang sinasabi galing sa superior. And bukod ron, you as a supervisor, you need to have maturity, influence, credibility, and authority. Apo. Okay, sa career stage number 3 naman. Career stage number 3, supervisors consistently exhibit in-depth knowledge and remarkable skills in performing their leadership and supervisory function. They are able to develop or collaborate with colleagues in the implementation of strategies to support division, district, schools, and learning centers. For curriculum management implementation by strengthening shared and accountability and fostering a culture of continuous improvement while developing themselves and others. They mentor and coach colleagues to help them achieve significant transition and advance to the next career stage. They exhibit sound decision making, bringing influence and establishing credibility and authority. For this stage, you do not only apply knowledge and skills on yourself, but you have in-depth knowledge and remarkable skills in which you can share it now with others yung kung ano mga nalalaman mo about being a supervisor. You are the mentor. Pwede na silang magtanong sa'yo because you have a lot of knowledge and skills while performing the function of supervisor. It seems like you are the resource person. Resource person. This stage is about collaborating, helping and influence your colleague for their development and improvement just like you. Ayun. So, let's move naman to the highest career, which is the career stage number 4. Supervisor embody outstanding qualities and exemplary practice in executing their leadership and supervisory function. They lead and empower career stage number 2 and career stage number 3 supervisor in a curriculum management and implementation by strengthening shared accountability and fostering a culture of continuous improvement while developing themselves and others. They exemplify principled decision-making and bringing impact with a strong credibility and authority. So this last one is the high career stages in which the supervisor is almost perfect. You lead and empower the career stage number 2 and number 3 for the improvement and development. Kung sa career stages number 3, you are bringing influence and establishing credibility and authority. Para sa in this highest stage, your credibility and authority is strong in which meron talagang malaking impact. That's why for this career stage number 4, it is almost perfect. Kumbaga, parang sila na yung parang mga batika. And, sorry po that. So, yun na po yung pinakalas na tackle about dito sa PPSS. Sana meron kayong natutunan doon sa mga aking mga tinakil. Para sa pagtatapos ng webinar, siguro ang may iwan ko lang na aral para rito, kumbaga sa story, may moral lesson, gano'n. So, ayun nga, itong Luke 1, verse 7, yung, for with God, nothing is impossible. That's my favorite verse, SKN. If you wish to be supervisor and reach the career number 4, where they are almost perfect, diba, sabi doon. I know it is impossible to reach those characteristics at yung mga pagdadaanan mo para maging supervisor. But, ayun nga, for him, nothing is impossible. Siyempre, hindi kanya gagawing almost perfect agad. He will guide you on your journey sa pagiging supervisor, better supervisor. We all know that is hard talaga. So, ayun nga. Just like itong sitwasyon ko ngayon, akala ko hindi ko ito magagawa. Kasi ayun nga, kabato ko, takot ako, at saka imposible sa akin para magawa to. Pero ayun, naging possible yun dahil sa kanya. And that is because he guided me sa paggawa nito. Kaya sobrang thankful talaga ako. So ayun, dito na talaga ako magbababay. Hoping talaga na meron kayong natutunan dito. And I'm sorry po pala sa mga galaw kong nakaka-distract, sa mga moments na sabog and lutang, tsaka sa mga naririnig while I am discussing. And yes, this is now a goodbye. Have a blessed day to all. God loves you so much.
So yun nga, no, partner. For sure, ang dami nating natutunan sa ating speaker na si Miss Jannah. Kasi ako, honestly, ngayon ko lang nalaman na napakalaking gampanin pala ng isang supervisor sa ating intern. So akala ko kasi dati, visit-visit lang sila sa room. Sipat-sipat, kung malinis ba yung yung room natin, nag-evaluate sa mga teachers, ganun. So, yun pala, mali ako. Dahil hindi lang yun yung role nila. Tinitingnan din nila yung pamamalakad sa school, kung ano yung mga dapat i-improve nang sa gayon ay makamit nila yung goal nila na matulungan yung mga estudyante kung paano nila makakamit yung full potential nila as a student. At syempre, maihanda sila in the future.
Yan, thank you so much, partner, sa iyong takeaways na. Gusto lang po pala namin mag-sorry sa naging technical difficulties kanina kasi recorded nga po uli yung naging speak na or talk ng ating speaker since siya po ay galing sa correspondence at working din po. Pero yon, di naman natin maitatanggi na napaka-informational ng ating guest speaker for today. Kaya naman to recognize her, let me award this certificate of recognition. Next po. Let me read the citation. Republic of the Philippines, Polytechnic University of the Philippines College of Education. Certificate of recognition is hereby given to Miss Jannah Marie M. Saligao in grateful recognition of your outstanding contributions as an resource speaker in the webinar of the Teacher in the Community School Culture and Organizational Leadership entitled The School Policies and Their Functions and the Philippine Professional Standards for Supervisors, given this 14th day of July 2022 via Zoom video communication and signed by our course professor, Dr. Rosalie A. Corpus, and our BEd 1 and President, Ms. Joanne V. Aton. Yan. Once again, congratulations po to Miss Jannah.
Okay, for our photo op, we highly encourage you guys to open your cameras. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you po.
And once again po, thank you so much again to Miss Jannah and to everyone who participated in our webinar. I know na marami rin kayong napulot na aral mula sa ating talk ng speaker, kaya don't worry at hindi natin sasayangin yan.
So tama ka dyan, partner. After this webinar, we will send the evaluation link together with the quiz on our group. So don't forget to answer those forms dahil no evaluation means no certificate.
Also, the recorded video of this webinar will be uploaded on our YouTube channel po for those na hindi naka-attend at para na rin mabalikan natin at mapanood ulit. And by that po, dito na nagtatapos ang aming webinar. But take note na meron pa pong mga susunod na webinars. Muli, this is Janella Gapatan.
And this is Jannah Felipe. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. To formally end this webinar, let us all sing the POP hymn.
Ikaw taglay, piupi aming